Hey everyone! Today, we're stepping into dangerous territory. I went on a mission to taste test some of the world's worst foods, the ones people either dare each other to try or just avoid at all costs. I'm talking about the dishes that make you wonder, who thought this was a good idea? From stinky to slimy, this is the ultimate culinary endurance test. So grab a snack, or maybe don't, sit back, and let's get into it. 1. Surströmming, Sweden. So first up, I went all in with surströmming, the infamous fermented herring from Sweden. Now, if you've heard anything about this one, you know it's got a reputation. The moment I cracked open the can, it hit me. The smell was like a mix of rotting fish and something worse. But hey, I came here to be brave. After plugging my nose, I took a bite, and wow! Imagine if sour fish and old cheese had a baby. It's not just a flavor, it's a full experience. Surprisingly, Swedes actually eat this stuff on crackers with onions and potatoes to help cut the intensity. But me? I'm still recovering. Let's just say, surströmming lives up to the hype. 2. Century egg, China. Alright, moving on to China's century egg, an egg that's been preserved in a mixture of clay, ash, and salt for months. The end result? An egg with a dark, almost black exterior and a jelly-like, grayish-green yolk. Just looking at it made my stomach do a little flip. But in the name of content, I took a bite. And honestly, it was strange. It tasted a bit like a super salty hard-boiled egg with a slight ammonia kick at the end. The texture was creamy but also gelatinous, which was an adventure in itself. Century eggs are actually considered a delicacy in China, and now I can say I get it, kind of. But it's definitely an acquired taste. 3. Durian, Southeast Asia, durian time. Now, I'd heard that this spiky fruit was known as the king of fruits in Southeast Asia, but it's also banned from hotels and subways because of its powerful smell. When I sliced it open, I instantly understood why. It's got this smell that's kind of like onions mixed with gym socks. But when I took a bite, I was shocked. It's creamy and has a custard-like texture with a hint of sweetness. It's almost pleasant, but the smell is so overpowering, it's hard to get past it. Some people absolutely love it, though. Me? I'll probably pass on seconds. 4. Casu marzu, Italy. Next up, we have casu marzu from Sardinia, Italy. And yes, this is the famous maggot cheese. They intentionally let cheese flies lay eggs in it, and the larvae break down the fats, turning it into a super soft, almost spreadable cheese. Now, they say it's best to eat it while the maggots are still alive. Yep, you heard me right. I was not mentally prepared for this. When I took a bite, the cheese had a funky, sharp taste, almost like a super-aged blue cheese. The kicker? The texture was smooth, but knowing what was in it definitely didn't help. This is definitely one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences, because I'm not doing it again. 5. Hakkarl, Iceland. Now, let's talk about hakkarl, or Icelandic fermented shark. It's literally buried in the ground to rot, then dried and hung out to age for months. The result is this translucent, rubbery-looking meat that smells like a chemistry lab gone wrong. But for science and YouTube, I took a bite. Let's just say the taste is intense, like ammonia, but with a hint of fishiness. The texture? Chewy and dry. Icelanders swear by it, especially with a shot of Brennivin, a local spirit to wash it down. But on its own? It's an acquired taste. 6. Balut, Philippines. Next on the list was balut, a popular street food in the Philippines. Balut is a fertilized duck egg with an embryo inside, and yes, you eat everything, from the broth to the embryo. Let me tell you, it was a journey. You start by cracking the top, sipping the warm, flavorful broth, and then you dig in. It tasted like a savory, super rich egg soup with a little extra texture from the embryo. The experience is definitely not for the faint-hearted, but it's incredibly popular in the Philippines. Would I have it again? Let's just say I'll leave it to the pros. 7. Stinky tofu, China. Now on to stinky tofu from China, another notorious dish in the world of strong-smelling foods. They take tofu and let it ferment, and the smell is, well, pungent. When I took a bite, it tasted better than it smelled. It was crispy on the outside and had this unique, funky taste on the inside. The tofu was earthy, savory, and definitely had that fermented vibe, but it's a big hit with locals. If you can get past the smell, stinky tofu is actually not bad at all. But if you're sensitive to strong smells, it might be a struggle. 8. Natto, Japan. Back to Japan for natto, fermented soybeans known for their sticky, slimy texture and strong smell. This one's usually eaten with rice for breakfast in Japan. When I took a bite, the flavor was like a tangy blue cheese with a hint of earthiness. The real challenge, though, was the texture, sticky and gooey, almost like spiderwebs sticking to everything. Natto is beloved by many in Japan for its health benefits, but it's definitely a food you have to mentally prepare for. 9. Kiviak, Greenland. Alright, this one's wild. Kiviak, a Greenlandic delicacy made by stuffing a seal with hundreds of little birds called auks, sealing it up, and letting it ferment for months. When it's ready, they crack it open, and the auks have a rich, tangy flavor. It sounds intense, and spoiler alert, it is. It's like a mix of salty, fishy, and sour flavors. It's not something you'd find in a restaurant, but it's a tradition in Greenland. 10. Vegemite, Australia. Let's end on a milder note with Vegemite from Australia. It's a dark brown paste made from leftover brewer's yeast, and it's salty, bitter, and packed with umami. Australians love it on toast, but when I took a spoonful, it was overwhelming. The taste is like concentrated soy sauce with a hint of bitterness. Pro tip: spread it thin on buttered toast to make it more bearable. This might be an acquired taste, but Aussies swear by it. So, there you have it, the world's weirdest foods, tasted and reviewed. Let me know in the comments which one of these you'd try or if you'd be too scared to even come close. And if you want to see more crazy food challenges, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss out. Until next time, stay adventurous and keep your taste buds brave.